Hello and welcome to the very first Infinite Monkey Cage, a programme about science. I'm Brian Cox, physicist.
And I'm Robin Ince, English and Drama, BA.
Robin, could you just tell the listeners why Robin Ince, BA, English and Drama and comedian, is presenting a science show?
Basically, I think because I am what I would classify as a keen idiot, which I imagine some of the other Radio 4 audience are, which is that we're very interested in science, but at the same time we don't know much about spontaneous symmetry breaking in the electroweak sector of the Standard Model, and to be honest, we're slightly scared of it.
Well, don't worry about it. By the end of the series, you will be fluent in spontaneous symmetry breaking in the electroweak sector of the Standard Model.
And just to reassure listeners, this show is also available in the form of a graph. Over the next few weeks, we'll be talking about everything from the search for alien intelligence, science conspiracy theories, religion versus science, overlapping magisteria, non-overlapping magisteria, slime mould communities, and hopefully, if we've got time, the sub-aquatic ape theory, which is my favourite theory, with professors, PhDs and people off the telly, because they don't put enough professors on the telly.
But in this week's Monkey Cage, we're joined by anatomist and broadcaster Dr. Alice Roberts.
Hello.
And it says here, someone whose early career showed so much promise but has gone drastically downhill since then. That's a bit harsh in the script.
I was going to be a neurosurgeon.
Apologies for that.
No, what you've done there, Brian, is you've misread that one. That's not referring to Dr. Alice Roberts. I can't believe we only wrote this script. We wrote this script 1 hour ago, and already you've forgotten the meaning of this script.
And cosmologist and comedian Dara O'Brian.
And the shocking thing was I actually recognised myself from the description of someone whose career started promisingly and has gone hideously wrong. Yeah. I cannot be described as a cosmologist, by the way. Let's get that straight right from the start, because I never actually worked as a cosmologist.
But you did study it.
I did. I studied. I did 4 years of a theoretical physics and mathematics degree with a specific leaning towards differential geometry and cosmology.
So why is it that there are so many comedians that seem to have started life as scientists? You know, there's Ben Miller, Dave Gorman, Richard Branch, Harry Hill.
There are certain overlaps. Let's discuss this in terms of a Venn diagram. There are certain overlaps between nerds of one type and nerds of another type. And comedians are nerds. Comedians are generally young men of a distinctly weak pallor who live in smoky rooms. And that is an overlap with the science community. I have a theory that the way you come up with ideas in comedy isn't dissimilar to the way you come up with ideas in mathematics, because you compare things to other things, basically. You compare the properties of one thing to the properties of another thing, and from that, hilarity / mathematical illumination lie, right? Depending on what are the two things you're comparing, right?
The foundation to our civilization,
exactly,
all those things.
Or a very good joke.
But there is also the other thing that even though there are people who have a science background, there are also a lot of comedians who don't have a science background but are very passionate about science, but then actually trying to do stand-up comedy about science. You must have difficulty when you try and tackle cosmology in stand-up.
I don't, as a rule, try to tackle cosmology and stand-up that often. I'm a little bit close to it, to be able to bring that, what's all this about? I mean, the best stance in comedy is to be the intelligent alien. To have, unfortunately, had the door opened a little bit for you, by way of doing a degree, means that I'm a little bit too close to it.
Now, Alice, see, I was thinking, because I think that's why physics is hard in any way to do in comedies, because it's kind of counter-instinctual, and most people have no background in it at all. Whereas the evolutionary biology, see, I think that's quite an easy one to do gags about. So, I mean, do you have, when you're doing a presentation...
the journey of mankind out of Africa, that's just funny.
No, but I'm talking about the other... Once you get to evolution...
Is the purpose of this show to classify all the sciences depending on how easy they are to make jokes about?
Yes,
okay.
that is exactly it.
I didn't realise that. That's fine. That's good. I'm on board with that project. That's what you want to do.
So, Alice, I mean, this what I love is finding out, when I've sometimes been to conferences, there are gags that I don't understand at all, and you must have, when you're doing a lecture, do you have your kind of opening gag, this will get people into the idea of mitochondrial leave, watch out?
I've had some very, very funny answers to things when I've been marking medical student exams over the years, and there was this one bit where I was asking them what a feature that stabilised the ankle was, and somebody wrote down Spanish ape. And I was really foxed by this. And then eventually a colleague said, "Oh, God, I know what it is." And I said, "Well, have you been lying to them?" And he said, "No." I said that the two bones at the ankle grip onto the talus, which is the top bone of your foot, and they form a sort of spanner shape. And obviously the student had just written this down. And it kind of, it's like esoteric knowledge. And of course, what's nice about anatomy and the stuff that I do is it's not actually esoteric, it's quite accessible.
Well, that's what I found difficult, is when I found out that the song about the head bone connected to the neck bone actually does have some inaccuracies in it, which is one of the reasons that I didn't do very well in anatomy. This is the problem with a lot of 30s songwriters.
It's not a mnemonic for an exam, that particular song. I don't think that's how it was invented. It wasn't passed from anatomy students to anatomy student. Because why would you put a chorus in? If you've got a mnemonic, why would you have a bit that goes dem bones dem?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?